Hello, everyone, and a very good evening to all of you. And today we have come back with our must watch question series. And in this series, I'm going to discuss the XAT 21 uh, short comprehension question with you, which was actually, this since yesterday, day before yesterday only, I was doing the XAT VRC tips with you. And many of you requested that I should be discussing some questions from the XAT paper. So this is something that I brought for you. The special short RC type of question, which is also part of the critical reasoning question. So it can be called as a short comprehension question or a critical reasoning question, which is a very, very common type of question which comes in XAT. At least 4 or 5 questions definitely are there like this in XAT every year. A short passage with one question or two questions, and it can be called as I told you, a short comprehension or as a critical reasoning question. So let's read this. And this is XAT 21, which was just last year. I mean, this year actually. And next year we'll be giving XAT 22. So just to prepare for it properly, let's see how to solve this. All right. So this talks about that we stand before this great world. The truth of life depends upon our attitude of mind towards it, an attitude which is formed by our habit of dealing with it according to the special circumstances of our surrounding and our temperaments. It guides our attempts to establish relations with the universe either by conquest or by union, either through cultivation of power or through that sympathy. And thus, in our realization of the truth of existence, we put our emphasis either upon the principle of dualism or upon the principle of unity. So basically, what are we trying to explain here? That we are standing before this great world, and the truth of our life is depending upon what kind of attitude our mind has towards the truth of life. And this attitude, which is formed by our habit of dealing with it, dealing with what? Dealing with the truth of life according to our surroundings and according to our temperaments, right? So that is how the truth of life gets formed in our life. It guides, and then it guides our attempts to establish relations with the universe either by conquest or by union. So now our attempts to establish relationships with the universe are guided by what? The surroundings and the temperaments. And this establishing relationship with the universe is happening how? Either by fighting with it, by conquest, or by uniting with it, by union, either through the cultivation of power. So either we try to impose power with it, or through that of sympathy, just being one with it. And thus, in our realization of the truth of existence, so and then when we realize, how we do we realize the truth of existence? We put our emphasis either upon the principle of dualism or upon the principle of unity. So then the truth of our existence is decided whether we emphasize upon the principle of dualism. Dualism is, you're fighting, you're trying to show your point of view, the two realities you're trying to show, or you just unite, you're sympathetic, you just you unite with the universe. So that's how. So the dualism, which is the conquest, and the unity, which is the union. These are the two principles that drive our truth of existence, right? So now, which of the following statements can be best inferred from the passage? So this is an inferential question. As I told you, short RC question also can be called as critical reasoning. So inference from the passage. Now, inference of the whole main idea. So what is the conclusion? So the conclusion and inference in this case is the same. So now let's see. So here the inference has to be, a sort of a decision, a sort of a conclusion. So in this case, anything which is exactly directly mentioned in the passage will not be the right answer. And something which is already, mentioned very, very clearly is not part. Similarly, if something is not mentioned at all, and it is like a little away from the passage, or changing the tone of the passage, or changing the information of the passage, that will also be wrong. So here now we'll have to look at the options and try to see. The main idea was that our truth of life depends upon the attitude of our mind, how we are dealing it according to circumstances and the surrounding and temperaments. This was one of the points. And the second point was that this guides our realization of the truth of existence. And this happens how the truth of our life, this depends either on the dualism or the unity. The dualism as in the conquest, and unity as in the union. All right. So which of the following can be best inferred from the passage? Now, war and conquest are a part of truth of life. No, they are not just a part. It depends upon what we put our emphasis on will guide us, right? So this is a very, very generic answer, whereas we need a very specific conclusion to our question. This is not a specific conclusion, therefore cannot be the right answer here. Now, conquest and union are two ways of realizing the truth of life. Now you see the here realization of the truth of life, we put our emphasis on the principle of dualism or the principle of unity. So yes, this is showing us just a little inference of the main idea, which is saying that for realizing the truth of life, the conquest and the union, or conquest or union kya hai? The principle of dualism and the principle of unity. Here we are inferring that this principle of dualism is inferring towards conquest, and principle of unity is inferring towards the union. So this is a good option. We'll keep this on hold, and we'll just check the other options also. Now see this one. Number C says the truth of our life co-evolved with our quest. Quest meaning the search for sympathetic supremacy. Now supremacy, that we are better than something, this is not at all any idea in the paragraph. So definitely this goes beyond the scope. So it is wrong, clearly wrong. It's a good, language thing, but it is a wrong. There's a wrong option given to confuse you. Now let's see the fourth one. Fourth one is interesting. Our habits and surroundings determine the truth of our life. Yeah, it depends. But then that is not, it just does not determine the truth of our life. The truth of the realization of the truth of life depends on something else. So here, this is half an answer. Now, half an answer is not a correct answer. So this was just the beginning of the argument. It was not the conclusion. And here you were asked about the inference or the conclusion. What do you decide based on this? So again, close option, but not correct. And then the last option here, principle of dualism is inferior to the principle of unity. Now, here it is not written anywhere that one of the concepts is superior and one of the concepts is inferior. That kind of a thing is not mentioned anywhere. So, definitely, that again cannot be our answer. So, in this, question, as you realize, there were two kinds of things that you had to focus on. One, you could not be uh, too generic, right? Then you could not think about something which was not mentioned in the passage. You could not change the direction of the passage also. That was also something which we had to look at here. That was again a very, very important thing. And the final thing was that the inference had to be related to something which was indirectly mentioned, not directly mentioned, है ना? So those are the things that we had to focus on. Now let's try to again understand the second question that was related to this particular paragraph. So I'll just share my screen again, and okay. So in this case, all right, so let's look at this one now. So this question here now, which is talking about Question number 23, related to the same paragraph. According to the passage, our emphasis on dualism or on unity is best guided by. Now see, now let's see, read this again. We stand before this great world. The truth of our life depends upon attitude of mind towards it, an attitude which is formed by a habit of dealing with what? With the truth of life, according to the circumstances of our surroundings or our temperaments, right? So now, and this special circumstances of our surroundings and temperaments is doing what? It guides our attempts to establish the relationships with the universe, either by conquest or by union. And this conquest and union was dualism and unity. So, which is what is guiding? What is guiding our emphasis on dualism or unity? Now, here there was a direct question, direct answer. The surroundings and the special circumstances of our surroundings and our temperament is guiding our emphasis on dualism or unity. So which option here is talking about our surroundings and temperaments, right? Now there are two options which are talking about the surroundings and temperaments. So we'll look at only those two options because we were looking for the specific answer. It was a direct answer. We did not have to really infer. According to the passage, it was directly given. So number A was talking about our attitude of mind formed by habits. This is general option again. We are not looking at it. We are looking at what was guiding. The question was guided by, and guided by surroundings and temperaments. This is what we are looking at. So option number 2, how powerful or sympathetic our surroundings and temperaments are. No, we are talking about how we deal with our surroundings, our habit of dealing. Let's just highlight this habit of dealing with our surroundings and temperaments, not just how powerful they are, how we are reacting to it, how we are dealing with it. So option B is thoda sa distorted. It is not giving us the best option. So therefore we remove this answer also. Number C, our deals with the universe based on special circumstances, but then temperaments and surroundings not there. So again, wrong answer here. Our desire to achieve versus our focus on contentment, totally inappropriate, totally out of the league, totally, not part of the scope of the passage, not mentioned anywhere, right? Look at option number E. And this was the second option, which was talking about surroundings and temperaments, and we were wanting something like our habit of dealing with it according to the special circumstances of our surroundings and temperaments. And here is option D, E, or fifth one, which is saying how we deal with our surroundings and temperaments. This is exactly what we are looking for, word by word, direct answer. Not to get diverted, because the dualism and unity was what? The dualism and the unity was the conquest and the union, which we had talked about in the previous question. तो अगर previous question में आपने वो dualism और unity को you had decoded that it was conquest and union, you would mark this answer, because immediately you find the link between it. That is how you solve it. That is how you solve these questions. So the XAT, just tricks you in such a way that sometimes the questions, even though they're separate questions, the logic behind them is also linked. And that's how we learn to solve it, right? So this was one important XAT question, which was both a comprehension and a critical reasoning question, which I did with you. So hopefully you like the session and you gain something from it. We'll be coming with more such tips and tricks and more solving from my side. So thank you very much. 50-60% accuracy, more questions. Yes, Yatharth, in that you should. If you have up to 70%, then it's very good. But 50-60 ka bhi guesswork thoda kar sakte ho. You can do. So hi Aditi, Yatharth, and all the others who are watching. And hopefully you enjoyed the session. So please give your feedback, give your comments. Hope you enjoyed the explanation also. And I'll be back with more. Thank you very much. Ending the session now. So take care, all of you. Bye-bye.